Our next presenter, Rene Mendoza, is one of the youngest division chiefs in ASTI and is currently handling the Knowledge and Management Division. So for the iGov project, he is the component team lead for the Public Key Infrastructure, or the PKI. And well, in general, he's involved in the other systems being developed under the project. So I'd like to call to the front Mr. Rene Mendoza to present on the PKI.
Okay, so good morning. I'll be giving a brief overview of what the PKI is, Public Key Infrastructure. So in the first two presentations, you've heard of yung basic service, PKI. May mentioned to ni Sir Dennis, one of the basic services, PKI. Jonathan mentioned in his presentation that he'll be integrating yung Gov portal with a single sign-on and authentication service. These two presentations were actually referring to this thing here, PKI, Public Key Infrastructure. So before I delve into the details of the PKI, let me pose this question first. Okay, does anybody know yung difference between buying spam from Amazon and buying Ligo sardines from its Palay store? Well, the obvious difference is, of course, yung pagbili ng spam, it's online. Yung Ligo, just go across the street, hanapin nyo lang si Palay store. And there you have it, you have a Ligo sardines. And by the way, trivia lang, you can actually buy spam from Amazon. I checked that. So, pwedeng ipa-deliver yan. Okay. Yes, isa lang spam pwede. Hindi ko alam ko yung Ligo na o-order na yun online. Okay, so that's one difference, no? The other one's online. The other one is, face-to-face. Ano pa ba? I think similarities, it's basically, you need to buy something, right? So similar yon. And then yung exchange is usually involves money. That's right, diba? Similar yon. Unfortunately, in online terms, money is virtual, right? So credit card usually ang ginagamit. Sa pagbumili kayo sa Palay store, it's just paper money or some coins, makakabili na kayo. Ano pa bang differences? Kung kilala niyo yung si Palay, yung may-ari, Palay, okay. Pwede kayong mangutang, di ba? Sa Amazon, in theory, pwede mangutang using credit card. That's like utang, di ba? Okay. Pero yung difference nilang dalawa, dapat, pag nangungutang kayo, kilala kayo nung may-ari. Otherwise, hindi kayo pautangin. Maybe you're just a stranger, dumaan kayo dyan, nagugutom kayo. Most likely, hindi kayo pabibili ng spam. Sa Amazon, any stranger, for that matter, as long as may credit card, makakabili ng spam. So, what am I trying to point out here? So, it boils down to yung trust. So, in either case, merong trust involved. Sa pagbili ng Ligo sardines, you're basically establishing ng trust na ako yung bumibili, kita mo ako, bigyan mo ako ng Ligo sardines. Sa Amazon, pag bumibili kayo, how do you ensure trust, di ba? So, a lot of things. Before you get a credit card, basta-basta ba kayo nakakakuha ng credit card? Hindi, di ba? So, the way to do it is you have to basically request for a credit card, establish that you're a person responsible and, having some kind of credit record. May sweldo, sumusweldo ka. Hindi ka lang ordinaryong tao na tambay, wala kang pinagkakakitaan or some sort. So, pero in some way, di ba parang mas mahirap gawin yon online kasi hindi mo nakikita eh. And then the other issue is, paano kung nabili ko yung, in-order ko na yung spam, pinadeliver na ni Amazon sa akin, tapos bigla ko sasabihin, hindi ko binili yan. Di ba? So that's possible. But nowadays, hindi na, imposible, that won't happen because there's what we call non-repudiation. I'm gonna talk about that later. So, okay. So I'm just saying here on this slide, maraming trust issues. And PKI hinges on that trust requirement. Oh, sorry. Okay, let's talk about another subject. Transacting with the government. Si Sir Dennis, may mention niya yan, madaming issues sa transaction with the government. Ito isang sample lang to ng isang issue. In the old times, or maybe medyo current pa, pag nagtatransact tayo sa gobyerno, tatlo yung problema natin. Mahabang pila, may pila, mahaba siya, at most likely mainit. Ngayon, nabawasan na yata yung issue na mainit kasi naglalagay na sila ng cover sa mga, pero may pila pa rin at mahaba. Pero kung ginawa natin online yan, most likely wala nang pila, hindi na siya mahaba, and you're probably accessing this in the convenience of your home or your office. So aside from that, it's safe and supposedly safe and secure if you use PKI. Okay, so what is actually needed? For online transactions, mechanisms must be developed to ensure that trusted relationships are maintained and can flourish. So again, yung word dito, yung trust. So paano natin ma-establish yan? PKI, public key, is the key. Okay. The public key infrastructure provides mechanisms to ensure trusted relationships. So ano tong 4 things that it brings to the table? One, yung minention kanina, non-repudiation. If I buy a spam from Amazon and then they deliver it to us, hindi ko pwedeng i-deny na binili ko yon kasi mag-aaway kami ni Amazon. Pangalawa, confidentiality. If I buy that spam na product, would I want that my neighbors know kung ano yung binibili ko? No, hindi, di ba? If I buy some other private stuff on the internet, would I want my, office mates looking in onto my online transactions? Hindi. That's what PKI provides, confidentiality. Authentication. When I go to Amazon, normally you have to have an account there, or PayPal. These things require authentication, and it's also provided by PKI. And then lastly, integrity. Normally in an online transaction, these actual transactions can be sniffed on the network. Pag na-sniff yan ng isang hacker, it's possible na modify niya yung transaction na yon and make it possible na, let's say, instead of you buying, let's say, spam, but gagalawin niya, Ligo sardines yung papa-order niya. So in order to prevent that, you're assured of integrity nun sa transaction niyo. So all these are provided by the PKI. So, okay. Sorry. But so medyo vague pa rin yung PKI, no? So it's an infrastructure. It actually defines yung processes. It actually involves yung processes, yung people, yung software, yung hardware, everything that ensures yung security nyo online. However, it does not infer trust by itself. Okay, basahin na lang natin. It only allows the identification of identities. This means the burden of figuring out whether or not a certificate can be trusted ultimately falls on the end user. So there's a word there, certificate. May bagong word na lumabas, certificate. What's a certificate? In the real world, may mga certificates tayo na receive. There's a certificate of recognition, certificate of appearance, participation. or possibly yung parang diploma. These certificates, what does it signify? It says that you've done something or you are. In the same way, a digital certificate does the same thing. It vouches for you. However, yung certificate na yon, nainitan na ako. Okay. For example, okay, certificate. On the issue of certificates na lang. If you've lost your, consider natin yung driver's license, no? Let's consider that as like a certificate, no? Pag nawala nyo yun, in order for you to drive your car, you probably need to request a temporary driver's license. Usually, wala atang picture yon, di ba? It looks, hindi siya mukhang credible, right? So, pag present ko yun sa banko and I applied for an account, or maybe go to DFA to get a passport, maniniwala ba yung DFA, yung bangko, na I am who I am? Most likely hindi, di ba? In the same way na kung kinuha ko, if I have a real driver's license, it opens up doors, mas madali, di ba? Pero what am I trying to point out here? Yung certificate itself, yung driver's license doesn't mean anything at all. It just identifies you. But the fact that you know na dumaan ako sa proseso ng pag-apply ng certificate, na verify ako ni LTO na alam ko mag-drive, alam nila yung address ko. You know this, it's implicit. This means na I could be trusted. So yun lang yung pino-point out ko. But in essence, if you meet someone with a certificate, implicit na kagad yung trust. Not on the certificate itself, but the process by which I got that certificate. So medyo weird yung explanation, but that's how it is in the PKI. So okay, what's a digital certificate? It's actually just a small file. It's a text file that you can put in anywhere, but don't share it with anyone, of course. It's just like a password that you don't share. It contains the following information identifying the owner of the certificate, an identifier of the central authority that issued the certificate. Ito yung agency na nagbigay nun. A unique serial number. This is something like a TIN that's very unique. A validity date range. We know for a fact na certificates or even yung real IDs have some validity, and you have to request for a new one every time it expires. And some optional fields that indicate how the certificate can be used. It can be used for a lot of things, for email signing, for signing your documents online, for authentication. Okay. So okay, let's compare yung how a physical signature with a digital signature. In the real world, that's what this says. It's same across all documents. Well, technically, ideally, it should be the same. But unlike me, na kung minsan nagbabago yung signature ko, depende kung nagko-concentrate ako. I realize pag nagko-concentrate akong mag-sign, mas nangyayari nagkakamali ako. But if I just close my eyes and sign, medyo mas consistent. But the idea is it should be the same across all documents, right? Pag yung physical signature. So in the digital world, you can use certificates to digitally sign documents, and that signature that you create is actually unique. So it's basically a bunch of numbers and letters. Ito. So if I modify, let's say D, and convert it to E, what happens? Does anyone know? It means the file has been tampered. Diba? So if I've signed it, and then I pass it on to someone else, and then if I check again that signature and nabago yung signature ko, someone has tampered it, and I will know. And itong signature na to will be different across all yung documents that you'll be using. So how does the PKI work? Okay. We'll start at the lower left corner doon, yung taong nakatayo doon na may keys. If I don't have a certificate, I request a request for one from the RA. That's the one in the middle. Okay, lalapit na lang ako. Hindi gumagana yung pointer. So the RA, this is actually an agency, forwards this request to the CA. Yung CA is a certificate authority. There's only one official certificate authority in the Philippines, and that is the NCC. Of course, even yung RA, actually pwede tayo magkaroon ng multiple RAs. These are registration authorities, but later I will explain kung paano tayo magkakaroon ng multiple RAs. But by law, there is only one CA, official CA. You can actually set up your own CA. It's just that you can't issue these certificates to anyone for official use. There's only one CA, and that's NCC. Okay. This, again, so going back to yung discussion, the RA forwards that request to the CA. Yung RA, what does the RA do? It just checks your credibility. So possibly, if I'm an RA, lumapit si Jason sa akin dito, I want to get a certificate, I will be checking. Pahingi ng identification, can you give me like at least 2 cards? Ano yung address mo? Saan ka nagtatrabaho? That sort of stuff. Once that's established, okay, mukhang he's a credible guy. So I'll just forward this request to the CA. The CA, NCC will create that certificate for him and then sends it to Jason. Okay, Jason, for example. By the way, Jason is the handsome guy here dito sa naka-check. So tinuro eh. So si Jason wanted to buy some undies sa Amazon.com. Okay. Sorry Jason, mamaya mag-uusap pa kami. So I have my certificates, I have my credit card. Okay, I go to Amazon.com. So see Amazon.com, what does it do? It requests the credit card details as well as yung certificate, if I have it. Okay, I present my certificate to Amazon.com, kumare. So what Amazon.com does with that certificate is, anong gagawin ko dito? How will I know that this is a valid certificate, right? So it passes it to the validation authority. This is like an online system. You shouldn't, normally this is transparent. Hindi nyo na kailangan intindihin yan. But what it does is, it just receives this request to validate yung certificate. So what the validation authority does, pag nakita niya yung certificate, check niya kung okay pa to, hindi. Is it still valid? If it's not, sasabihin niya no. But if it is, says okay, let's continue with the transaction. So in the end, Jason gets his, Okay, so simple lang, di ba? But simple siyang i-describe, but if you look at the diagram, it looks very complex. So applications of the PKI. Secure email. If you're familiar with Yahoo, with Gmail and Hotmail, wala yun, there's no way to secure your email on that platforms. On those platforms, thing is, even if it provides secure na access, napansin nyo may HTTPS yung URL, https mail.yahoo.com, https mail.google.com. Secure yon, means if you enter your username and password, you are assured na hindi makukuha yung username password nyo. But once you send out that mail, by default, that mail is sent unencrypted. And that's where PKI comes in. Using your certificate, you can actually encrypt that email. And even before that, you can actually sign that email. So, okay, yung word na sign in this case, ba't ko pa isa-sign yung email, di ba? Online lang yan, di ba? But there is a purpose for that. Why do we even have to sign emails? Is para lang ipakita natin that, yeah, it has come from me. This is my email. You should trust this email. And to add more security to that, I can even encrypt that. So, yun yung use ng PKI in securing email. Securing web servers. Yan, kita nyo, HTTPS. You can even do away with yung username passwords. Instead of you presenting your username password, you just use certificates. Okay, user authentication. You can do digital signatures for online forms and documents. Familiar ba kayo sa EFPS, yung electronic filing payment system ni BIR? As far as I know, I haven't really looked into it, but as far as I know, it allows you to submit ITRs for the top 1,000 business entities. Tama ba? I could be wrong, but I think that's what it does. It allows you to upload documents, no? Pero what is the problem with uploading documents? Anyone can upload documents. So how would we know kung sino yung nagpadala nun? Even if I sent in my username password, that doesn't mean a thing. Yeah, it's authenticated nga ako, but anyone can get a hold of username and passwords as well, di ba? So there must be a way to actually sign those signatures. Para mong pinirmahan siya niya, galing yan sa akin. And that's what yung digital certificates do. Encryption and timestamping services. Yung timestamping, this has an effect for time-bound applications. Ano yung naisip nyong importante ng application na kailangan ng time? It's a government service. Sa bidding, di ba? Actually, sa filing din ng tax, there's a time limit as well. Sa bidding, if I am a supplier and I want to bid online, I go to PhilJeps. Kung walang timestamping service, paano malalaman ni PhilJeps na sinamit ko on time yung mga bids ko? That's where PKI comes in. In code signing, this is basically for developers. If you're developing code and you want to make sure that it's not gonna be tampered with, you can do code sign. This has only some value for developers. There are a lot more. Di ko na masyado di-discuss, but my point is there is a reason why PKI is being discussed first as one of yung basic services iGov. It's because it cuts across all applications, across all boundaries. In every application, you need yung 4 basic requirements: confidentiality, integrity, non-repudiation, and yung authentication. So magagamit siya in all. So maybe now you won't be able to appreciate it, but the plan is in all the applications that will be rolling out on the iGov, every service that's gonna be there, in some way or another, gagamit siya ng PKI. So what are the challenges in setting up a public key infrastructure? As far as I know, a lot of yung solutions are proprietary. There is one open source solution, however, their services are expensive. So, but going back to yung proprietary solution, it can be very, very expensive. And add to that, you have to have a steep learning curve para lang matutunan siya. It's because it's too complex from a management point of view, maintenance and management point of view. But if you are a user, hindi nyo kailangan intindihin lahat yung details that goes into how to maintain it or manage it. But for our team at iGov, sobrang complex siya. In fact, we need a lot of training just to make this work. There are different vendors have different interpretations of standards, and since yung iGov government requires na may procurement, it's almost impossible to get the same products and services from one supplier. It's possible na iba-iba yung pagbibilhan. And problem with that is that pwedeng hindi mag-uusap-usap yung systems natin. So it's a challenge, but it's something that we're looking into. So some social aspects, just like anything, kung yung susing nyo, digital certificates nyo pa, diba? It's just a small file. Other issue is people are unwilling. I think, for example, did you know that digital signatures have no tangible, visible look sa inyong documents. When I get a Word document, I sign it. Pag pinasa ko yan sa inyo, you won't be able to see any change dun sa document. Yung digital signature is just there, but you don't see any indication that it has been signed unless you click on some menus to see na, ay, this has been signed by ganyan. Sa actual document, pag sinainan ko yan, obvious ka agad, di ba? May signature ko eh. So, I think for some people na kailangan ng makita talaga yung signature, magkakaproblema tayo. Kasi ako, sinainan ko na yan. Sasabihin niya, hindi, wala kang signature na piece. So how do we actually synchronize yung dalawang issues na yun? There's a technology that allows you to simultaneously sign yung document using your digital signature and then appending your physical signature. So yung physical signature mo, obviously you'll have to scan it, convert it into a small graphical image, and then attach this to your document. Make sure na hindi siya kakalat, of course, because it's gonna be a security issue. Okay, mas maniniwala ang normal na tao dun sa yung sa physical signature kaysa yung digital signature. Pero if I'm the one checking, I won't even look at yung yung physical signature eh. I will always look for the digital signature. Okay, so maraming problema, no? So, ano yung alternative natin? I don't think there's no alternative. It's actually worse if there's no security. Benefits to the end user. Initially, we're looking into right now we're talking with PhilHealth and trying to improve yung security ng application nila. This basically has something to do with yung medical data na tina-transfer ng hospital sa PhilHealth. And that data before was being sent unencrypted, and our objective is to secure that medical data. There's also another project with yung BIR naman, yung sa digital signatures na isa-sign yung mga sinesend na ITRs. And then lastly, yung authentication, ang immediate benefit natin is yung government-wide email na i-discuss mamaya. Plans. Integration ng dito may UMID na. Lahat na. Parang wala pa. Ako wala pa. I've had my application 3 years ago. Hanggang ngayon wala pa. But bakit natin integrate siya with PKI? Kasi maganda yung sistema ng UMID. Okay, here's the thing, no? So, pag humingi kayo ng UMID card, paano yung proseso? Ang dami nilang hinihinging identification para makakuha ng card. So the fact na in-identify na kayo means hindi na namin kailangan gawin yan. So if Jason here, again, has a UMID card and comes to me, I want a certificate, ang gagawin ko lang, can I see your UMID card? Pag meron siyang UMID card, hindi na madugo. Identification. And that takes a lot of time. Kawawa yung user. So yung gusto namin, we will coordinate yung user. Nag-issue sila ng card, bibigyan namin ng certificate yung user. And then there's the other thing, no? All these PhilHealth, NSO, these agencies have online government services, di ba? Like NSO, for example, ang silang pinakamadaling example, di ba? Pwede kayong mag-transact na online. I want a marriage certificate or a birth certificate for me. Hindi pa ako patay pala, so hindi pala pwede yun. Let's say, birth certificate na lang or marriage, no? You can do that online, eh. But we're going to improve that by adding yung security. Ngayon meron na silang payment gateway. So, but we have yung if I have a certificate, if I have my own certificate, yung digital certificate, I want to get a copy of my birth certificate. I just go to NSO's website, issue my digital certificate, and should be straightforward getting my copy of my birth certificate. Okay. This one, di-discuss to later. If you have that digital certificate, yung may issue sa inyong government email, gagamit to ng digital certificates for authentication. We also plan to promote it for a lot of other applications, like I said, email sign-in encryption, secure communications like yung HTTPS nyo na secure websites, virtual private networks for like for example, DFA has a lot of agencies na gustong i-connect. They can set up VPNs using digital certificates. If you have an internal Wi-Fi, you can actually secure that using certificates. General purpose authentication, this is basically website-based. DNSSEC, if you want to improve the security of your DNS. And device certificates for computerized elections for COMELEC to. I think in the May 10 elections, gumamit sila ng self-signed certificates. And self-signed to anyone can actually generate self-signed certificates. But from what I know, bumili pa ang COMELEC dun sa self-signed. So parang gumastos pa tayo. But this time, we're gonna save on costs. The PKI itself will issue the digital certificates that COMELEC will be using. So basically, that's the end of my presentation.